What's good, everybody? S.Craft Blendz back again with another barber tutorial. Today we're going to do a nice clean shadow fade and hit the beard. First we're going to prep the hair, combing it in the direction that we want it to go, and then we're going to put a 1.5 guard on the wall seniors, and we're going to cut with the grain, just kind of knocking down some of that bulk, cleaning it up. We'll come in later and do some more detail work. So now, whenever I do a shadow fade, I simply have no guard, blade all the way open, and we're gonna make this real easy today. We're just gonna come in and we're gonna set our first initial guideline wherever you want it to be. And as you can see, I pointed to the corner of the C cup there because that's gonna be my reminder as far as where I want this first guideline to start. And then we clean up everything underneath with that open blade, and then we'll take the next step. So now I come in with a number 1 closed, and I just move up, you know, about another inch. And he likes his fades a little bit higher. That's why I started, you know, my first initial guideline at the corner of that C cup area. You know, if I wanted it lower, then I would have dropped that first initial guideline lower. However, he likes it a little higher, so we took it a little higher. And then I'm just going to spread this out just a little bit and compact it more towards the top. So I created that second guideline with the 1 closed. Now I'm just going to go ahead and open that one fully open, and then just kind of blend the 1 closed up into the top. Still have a little dark line, but we'll hit that in a moment with a 1.5 and kind of blend that in a little bit better. Real easy process. You can move quick with it. So I have the 1.5 fully open, and I'm just kind of rocking a little bit into that top just to, you know, kind of lighten up some of that bulk, help it blend a little bit better. And I'll continue to do that, you know, while I'm combing down so I can cut against the grain, you know, and I'll use the corners of that guard just like right now I have it closed, and I'll come in with it closed and kind of tie that 1 open to that 1.5 closed. Just kind of tie it all together as best as possible. And you know, we just keep combing down, hitting the dark spots with different angles. Obviously, if you go up against it and it leaves those dark spots, that's why you need to hit those angles. You know, that way you don't take too much off, but you get just enough to get a nice blend. Now I'm going to take that half guard and I'll close my clipper all the way up, and then I just open it slightly to almost between closed and halfway, and then I just go ahead and start tapping at that first initial guideline, knocking it out. And as you can see, pretty easy. We just, you know, just blending that line out. And I might move up and tap in little dark areas with the corner while I'm there, just to kind of make it blend a little bit better. But once again, that half guard is on there, and I'll close it and then open it up almost to halfway. Sometimes I'll open it up halfway, sometimes, you know, I'll go between halfway and closed, and I just start, you know, knocking out that line. Once again, if I see any dark spots, I'll just use the corner, just tap at those. All right, so now I'm not going to use my trimmers to create my lineup because I want to be very careful not to push his edge back. And as you can see where his beard is, he kind of keeps that C cup back a little ways, and he keeps the top of that beard kind of thin. And I don't want to make it thinner than it already is. So I'm just, you know, trying to use my razor to get the line as sharp as possible without going back farther than it is already. Also, I feel like this gives me more control. And another benefit is when I do it this way, I don't have to use the trimmer. I'm going straight into the razor. Now, usually when the hair is a little bit longer on that C cup area, it's better to hit the trimmer first, but because it's like a shadow, I can just come in with that razor and get a nice sharp line. So then we're just gonna follow it down into the beard. Just clean that up while we're there, and you know, I'll keep going over little areas like that. If I see a hair out of place, I'll come in trying to get that line looking as sharp as possible, clean as possible, asking him to do different things with his face or mouth whenever I'm hitting it with the razor. Then we clean up that back line, just curve it on over the ear and bring it around into the back of the beard. As you can see, the blend is not exactly where I want it to be. It's not up to my standard, but we have a good foundation. And if you've watched any of my videos, that's one of the things that I really preach, is get the bulk of the haircut done first, come back in later and do the detail work. So right now, obviously, we're just cleaning up the back of the beard. And I'm not really focused on the beard at the moment, but while I had the trimmer in my hand, I wanted to go ahead and just, you know, clean up the back of that beard, get, you know, as much done as possible. I kind of have a little system that I work through. So as you can see, we went back up, created our first guideline with the open blade, giving that shadow effect. Now we got the one closed, then we'll open that one up and go right back into that one open. Let me just explain a shadow fade. I seen on a Facebook group the other day, someone was asking about a shadow fade. And a shadow fade, basically, it's been around since before I started cutting hair. So when I first heard shadow fade, I was like, what the heck's a shadow fade? That was over 20 years ago. And what I realized is a shadow fade basically is a fade that has that 5 o'clock shadow effect. Not everyone likes a bald fade. Some people like it as close as possible without the bald. Some people like the trimmer without the shaver, you know, because of bumps or what have you. So anyways, it's just a different look, different style. It's short, it's clean. Some people like it because they still have a little edge on it, and as their hair grows out, they can trim that, you know, try to line themselves up as well. So you know, different people like it for different reasons, but a shadow fade, 5 o'clock shadow, that whole deal, that's kind of where that comes from. So as you see, I went through the process. I had the open blade, created my first guideline, closed number one, created my second guideline, opened that one up, and then I went into the 1.5 to try to tie it all together. Now I'm coming back with that half guard, almost halfway open, and I'm just going in, tapping at that line and any little dark spots that I see. And then it's always good to turn the chair, make sure you hit that corner right there, you know, where you can tie the back end to the side. So it's important that, you know, that we tie the back to the side, and this is the little area where we would, you know, do that. Anyways, I went ahead to keep this video short. I went ahead and did the other side as well. You've seen how simple it was. The half, the one closed, one open, 1.5 open and closed. And anyways, now I just come up front and I'm lining up the front. I usually like to start in the middle, and then I'll work my way to the highest corner first and then bring it straight across, you know, and if I have to lift up the lower corner, which usually we do, that's what I'll do. So I'll hit them with a little bit of color enhancement using my Sean Cuts hair color card. Obviously that color card needs to be washed really good or thrown away, but I use that thing all day every day, so I need to pull another one out. So as you can see, just hitting the beard up, giving it that crispy line. Here's a little trick that I do. I use that little round part of the corner just to get my mustache flowing into the beard properly. If they like a little drop there, as far as that real like 90-degree angle, then I won't, you know, use that. But see, I haven't even shaped up on the inside of this goatee yet, but I like to create my line first, and I'll just use that as a guideline and bring my trimmers or razor down to that line just to get it cleaned up. So now that I put my color on, I'll come in with my trimmers and just trim everything out, make it nice and clean. And I'm constantly brushing, you know, and I want to be real careful, you know, not to bring that mustache too high above the lip. I do like, you know, a little gap. I don't want it setting right, you know, touching the lip. I feel like it looks cleaner like that, and it keeps it out of their mouth, you know. So then Now that we've touched up the bottom, we come around the top, bringing our trimmers in the direction that we have it right now. That's the best way to get that nice clean line on the top. And then I come in and I just clean up, you know, where I colored. It's kind of like, you know, using a cheat sheet. You already have the color applied. Now you just bring the, you know, bring the hair down to the color. Real simple. Now, usually before I would always flip my trimmers over and come down with it to get that sharper line. But here lately, I've just been doing it like this, holding it at this angle. And I just make sure that I raise it a little bit above the line because the cutting blade is closer to the line at this point. So I don't want to, you know, cut down into my line. So I have to just cut a little bit above the line that I created so that I can do that. And the reason I do that is just to get a little more control. So now that I did all that with the trimmer, I just come in, touch up little things with the razor, make sure everything's good. As you can see, I talk to my customers. Hey, you know, I'll point at their cheek or, you know, their chin or whatever and say, can you tighten this up here, move this there, blow your cheek out, whatever the case may be. You got to communicate so that you can get in and do what you need to do. As you can see, working the angles of the razor, being very careful not to cut that mole right there. Even though the mole has a little hair on it, you know, we'll come in and tap it lightly. But there again, talking to my customer, hey, pull this tight right here. I'll even use my finger to do what I got to do. Don't be afraid to touch people's faces or to rest. When I'm lining people up, dude, you know, especially across that front line of their forehead, I'll rest my whole hand, my palm, you know, like on their nose, or my wrist on their nose, to get to put myself in a position where I can be stable and get a straighter line. Now, being we already have that shadow on the bottom with that blade fully open, it's already so easy to blend into it. So I just started off creating my first guideline for the bald taper in the back with it closed. And then I just slightly open it, you know, and just flick right into that what was open already, you know. Now I'm going to come in and clean up the top. As you can see, I switched clippers. This clipper has a master blade on it, but it has the fade blade. So I always use my fade blade to either clean up the beard, the little scragglers on the beard, and on the top of waves and stuff like that. Just gives it that smoother effect. So it's coming together, looking good. We're cleaning them up. Usually I wouldn't clean them up yet until I was completely done with the haircut, but we got so busy talking, I was cleaning them up, and then I was like, oh crap, I forgot to go around and do my details. As you know, spraying them with that alcohol, make sure that any sting, you know, from the clippers is being overridden by the sting of the alcohol, you know what I mean? But anyways, so now I'm just coming around and I'll go around the head, and if I see any little dark spots, this is where I do my detail work, man. Just, you know, touching little things and moving, you know. Still see a few little dark spots, you know, but I didn't see it with my natural eye. The camera likes to bring some stuff out, but you know, I think it looks pretty good. So I just go in there again, just hitting little spots, man, just moving around the head, touching up spots. Sometimes I'll do detail work with a clipper, sometimes I do detail work with my shears, but basically that's the finished cut, guys. I hope you like it. Until next time, God bless you guys. Listen, if you are not following me on IG, go ahead and do that now. S.Craft_Blendz with a Z. And once again, until next time, God bless you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, watch more videos, give it that thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. So live every day like it's your last, because it just might be. Peace. God bless y'all.